Welcome to the latest Motley Fool Scoreboard. I'm Anand Chokkavelu, and we've got longtime fools Dan Caplinger and Lou Whiteman giving a 1 to 10 rating to the military drone maker AeroVironment, ticker symbol AVAV. We'll talk about the strength of AeroVironment's business, including factors like its industry and its competition. A 10 is invincible. A 1 is hopeless. Dan and Lou are agreeing at a 6. Lou, tell us more. You cover the space very closely.
Yeah, so AeroVironment is a leader in uncrewed aerial vehicles, UAVs, or as you say, drones, right? It's a good business and one with a lot of growth pulled forward by the conflict in Ukraine. The conflict provided sort of a proof of concept and showed the need for drones as part of the modern military. So that is kind of long-term, they finally established themselves as, yes, this is a big part of the Pentagon's future. But also, look, the sales boost was temporary, we hope, and we are now still waiting for the next big thing. Good news here is they have a strong pipeline, including a recent $4 billion acquisition of something called Blue Halo that helps diversify the business, but they still need to make good on that. So we're kind of in wait and see mode from here, which is a 6 for me.
Yeah, I've been watching AeroVironment for a long time. And, I remember when it was very innovative and drones looked like they were the future. And drones kind of have been the future, but it's been up and down for AeroVironment. They haven't really become that solid disruptor leader in this niche that's turned it into like this big thing. It's just been slow in coming. It may be that, they've had more success with this latest, it's the Switchblade line of munition-oriented drones. Maybe that's going to be the winning force. They've got a lot of orders for it. But, it's just been one of those companies that always seemed like it had more potential than it did and than it's been able to make materialize. That's why I gave it a 6 as well.
Right. For management, a 10 is Warren Buffett, a 1 is Homer Simpson, but just like with the business, 6 is all around, Lou.
Yeah, so there's a lot to like about Wahid Nawabi. He's been there, I think, since 2011. He's been the CEO for about a decade, and he has done a good job managing through this sort of hyper-growth period. But this is a company that's always been stops and starts. I would argue if Switchblade is the future, it's a low margin and kind of as an investor future. So they do need to get the next thing right, and it's an uneven track record there. He's a great spokesperson for the brand. He's a very, very good person as far as to be out in front of things, but it hasn't been a smooth ride in his tenure. And so I give him the benefit of the doubt, but only a bit. And again, end up at a 6.
Yeah, same score, but I kind of push back a little bit on Nawabi's visibility. Every CEO is a spokesperson for their particular brand, their particular products, but this is a high-tech area. You'd kind of expect, you see a lot of visionary tech people, executives that have been able to capture the spotlight and really capture the imagination, kind of instill the imaginative spirit in listeners. And that just, I haven't seen that from Nawabi. It's not that the products aren't innovative and good. It's just that, I don't know, there's something lacking kind of on the self-marketing side that has seemed to hold AeroVironment back. And that's why I'm giving it just this middling score here.
To be fair, as a CEO in this space, it's hard not to just drone on and on. Let's move on to financials. A 10 is a fortress. So a 1 is yikes. Dan's at a 6. Lou, you're at a 7.
I'm paralyzed here. I don't know if I can take that, but all right, I will try. All right, so the thing to know about the financials here is there's just a ton of noise here between the Blue Halo acquisition, which was really big for them, and the Ukraine-related ramp, which is kind of all sorts of one-off, almost to the same scale COVID was to retail. So there's just a lot of moving parts up, down. It's really hard to really look at anything and take it at face value. Underlining balance sheet here is fine. Hardly any cash or debt. I think some of the red flags that you could see, like cash flow weakness, can be explained away by just current events and what's going on. There's no reason to panic. But, I'm kind of grading on a curve here because with this company, what they're hoping to do, I don't think any investor is buying it for the balance sheet. You're buying it for potential growth. And so all you need is okay or good enough financials. And I think we definitely have okay or good enough here. So I'm fine with it. I give it a passing grade of 70.
Same argument, slightly lower score. I like the pickup in revenue that we're seeing. I like the pickup in the backlog, but I haven't seen the profit growth yet. I want to see the profit growth. I want to see some of that hit the bottom line. Until it does, I'm going to be just a little bit skeptical. I do give points for a solid balance sheet. I like companies that have basically negligible debt, and so that's good. But the negative free cash flow lately has been bad, and they really need to. Anytime you have revenue going up, but free cash flow going down, it's sort of a question of where's the money going. And I like to see it going in the right direction towards research and development and towards other initiatives that should generate in the long run more sales, more profits. They just haven't built that flywheel yet. And so until I see that they can prove that concept and get that flywheel moving, I'm just going to be a little bit, wishing that it was already there.
Lou, let's talk valuation. How well will AeroVironment's stock do over the next 5 years, and how safe is it? 10 is a sure thing, 1's a lottery ticket.
So I think this is basically a market performer for now. So I'm at 5 to 10%. And it's ironic to say that because this has been a quite volatile stock over the years and anything but just kind of going with the market. There are potential catalysts, but honestly, I'm not sure we'll see them really impact the stock within that 5-year window, which is kind of the problem. In terms of safety, I'm at a 7 just because I think Pentagon has realized the value of these products, even just the base Switchblade products. Worst case, even if all goes wrong, there's a deal to be done with a bigger contractor who would just take that business. That's what happens with most of these mid-tier defense companies anyway, so it wouldn't surprise me here, but it does give some, at least I think, floor, just the fact that Switchblade is a viable needed product.
Yeah, I think there's a floor, but I'm not sure I'm as comfortable with the upside. I go 0 to 5% over the next 5 years with a safety score of 6. I do think that the stock's gotten hit pretty hard. I think you will get a bounce from that once you start to see some of the pipeline turn into actual revenue. But there's still that lingering question, am I going to get better margins? Am I going to start to get better profit numbers once the revenue goes up? And I'm just not sure. They haven't shown me that they have the execution capability to make good on that kind of promise for shareholders. And until they do, I think that the stock is likely just to keep kind of trending sideways with these occasional bumps and these occasional declines, but just kind of not really going very much anywhere over the next several years.
Top it time, Lou. Is there a company in AeroVironment space you like more?
So the true comparable here is Kratos Defense and Security, ticker KTOS. And they are also basically in the drone business, arguably a similar risk-reward profile, but they are building more sophisticated systems. And based on commentary out of the Pentagon just now with the awarding of a new fighter jet, Kratos' vision of this so-called loyal wingman of like basically a mini F-35 uncrewed going into battle with planes, I think it's close to becoming reality. It's an if, but this one's intriguing for me right now.
I'm partial to Textron, ticker TXT. I kind of like there to be people in my aircraft. And Textron, they make not only the unmanned aircraft systems, but also a wide range of corporate jets, helicopters, trainer planes, even snowmobiles. So you don't have to leave the ground with Textron.
You're not snowmobiling right, Dan. But thank you anyway, and thanks to Lou. You've given AeroVironment a fairly low overall score of 5.8 out of 10, with no category getting above a 6.5. Look out for a new scoreboard every day, every market day at 7 p.m. Eastern. Next up is Karoo. Till then, Fool on.
There's arguments to be made either way on, uncrewed systems, autopilot, all that. But I've seen enough recreational snowmobilers in my life. I will say, let the AI do that.